Max Verstappen and Red Bull breathed a sigh of relief after the driver finished third at the US Grand Prix over the weekend. It was not a win, but a third-place finish was enough for Verstappen to extend his lead over Lando Norris of McLaren in the driver's standings. That gap has now increased to 57 points. And despite getting the desired result, the Red Bull driver continues to cry foul. Verstappen's third-place finish has been mired in controversy. Initially, it was McLaren's Lando Norris who had come in third. But the British driver was given a 5-second penalty by the stewards for a mistake he had supposedly committed during the race. McLaren was furious on losing that third-place finish.
My view is that the way the stewards interfered with a beautiful piece of motorsport was inappropriate. I'm surprised that the stewards didn't even feel the need to discuss with the drivers after the race. Both cars gained an advantage. It's a shame because it cost us a podium. This kind of decision by the stewards cannot be appealed. For us, the chapter is now closed.
McLaren's team principal, Andrea Stella, pointing out his displeasure over the matter. But before I get into what Verstappen's reaction was, let me tell you what led to the controversy in that first place. The incident occurred in the 52nd lap of US Grand Prix with 4 laps to go for completion. That's when Lando Norris attempted to overtake and pass Max Verstappen. Both cars ended up running off the track. Norris got ahead and stayed there for the rest of the race. And since he overtook Verstappen outside the tracks, as you can see there, and didn't give Verstappen the lead back, the McLaren driver was penalized. But what McLaren are arguing here is that it was Verstappen who forced both drivers to go outside the tracks. So Norris was forced to overtake outside of it because of Verstappen's maneuvering. The way Verstappen was driving, Norris would have crashed into Verstappen and he had to overtake, and that's what happened. And if he had to overtake within the track, the crash would have happened. So McLaren is claiming that it was actually Verstappen's wrongdoing, which is why both driver and the team are furious over the penalty that they received. They believe it wasn't just Norris who was entirely at fault here. Quite normal from a rival after losing that podium place, but Verstappen here feels that McLaren are complaining just a bit too much.
They complain a lot lately, but it is very clear and it is in the rules. If you are outside the white line, you cannot pass, and I've been penalized for that in the past too.
If McLaren's accusations are considered, Verstappen is at fault too, because had he not forced Norris out of the track, the situation of the penalty itself would not have arisen. Sure, what Verstappen did was well within the rules of racing, but it's also considered a bit of a move. The driver making the most of the loopholes available for him, something Norris pointed out.
He defends by going off the track. He overtakes by going off track. But I'm not going to complain about it.
It's interesting to note that during the weekend, this was the second decision that went in Red Bull and Verstappen's favor. Before the race, Red Bull was accused by rival teams of making adjustments to the height of their car. While the allegations were serious, FIA let Red Bull walk away without facing any penalty. They were asked to make changes to their car, and that was that. Had FIA put a sanction on Red Bull, it would have affected Verstappen's chances at the US Grand Prix too. And after that, this penalty call, despite everything still going in Verstappen's favor, looks like Verstappen is the one who seems to be complaining a little more. Maybe Verstappen needs to be a bit of a sport here, or maybe all the intensity from McLaren is getting to him. The Red Bull driver just needs to be reminded that he is the one ahead in the race to the finish so far, at least at this point.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.